All right. Says we're live. Let's go outside. Come on. Give us a minute to warm up, folks. Have a chat. Get everybody ready for their fun and exciting weekend. Potentially. What you looking for? See who checks in. Hope everybody's got to get over here and get set up. See who checks in. Got coffee in hand. Hopefully they do too. Properly prepared. Properly armed. Right? Properly. Let's see if we can get set up here while we're waiting on everybody. Everybody might be traveling, going on vacation. You never know. Nobody might show up. I know Wes S is on the road, out and about seeing everybody. Be a lot of fun there. See how I got this thing set up. All right, maybe somebody's checking in here. Oh, hey Chipper, how's it going? How you doing? You got your weekend plans ready? Hopefully everybody's getting a long weekend, not just a... See if this thing will stay up here. Get it to where it'll stay. All right, get everything set up. Dog's out sneaking around. What's going on? If you don't have any weekend plans, well, don't know what to tell you. Just do your daily routine. Just have fun with that, I guess. Hey, Bug Out Bubba, how's it going? Hey, what are we talking about? Whatever we want, I guess. The madness that continues in the world around us, I guess. Some degree. I hadn't really thought about too much. A couple links I put below to some of the stuff you don't hear about in the daily necessarily. That don't have to do with tennis shoes or other distractions, I guess you'd say. When was the last time anybody bought a pair of Nikes anyway? Who can afford a pair of Nikes? Like, seriously, you know? I'm looking at it from that perspective. That seems to be pretty much a distraction. But the new IMF chief and EU central banker, Lagarde, came out yesterday championing negative yield rates. Basically, you're going to have to pay to use money, I guess you'd say. Is a sure sign that things are getting really bad. Gregor and me and talked about it a little bit briefly last night. It came across because it's in Europe, of course, and just you want to see something. I mean, that's how desperate to keep everything afloat comes with this, but there's also other consequences that can come from negative yield rates economically, like bank closures, bank holidays. It just really centralizes control to the central bankers, really, when they do that. But that's out there. That was I put a link to the article I just briefly skimmed, and I saw Manarino's tweet. He's probably doing a video about it, probably about right now, as the market's open. But I haven't been able to study it more than that. But negative interest rates just aren't going to go well for anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I guess hold out a little bit longer if you're looking to get a house, just so you can basically get the money for free almost. Is they keep lowering these interest rates down to 0.0. We'll see if it gets below 1%. That would be pretty crazy. So in your economic collapse, economic slow burn scenario there, Bug Out Bubba, that's probably top of the list. And everything. You see, we got the side chat going here. Hey Stan, what's going on? You have a 5-day weekend? We allowed now to live it up, right? Did you guys? Well, Canada, you just had your day. Canada Day was what, Monday? Did you Or was it yesterday? I guess it was yesterday. Did you guys do you guys take the whole week since you got the whole week lined up? um, Canada Day. Now, what does Canada Day actually represent? Does it represent joining the Commonwealth, or does it represent the forming of Canada as a nation, even back when France was in charge? Like, what does Canada Day actually mean? I guess I don't really know the exact meaning of it. I'm sure it's one of those, something similar to that, but just thinking about it, like the France had it first, and then the British took over. Like, which one are you celebrating? And does Quebec participate? Hey, Wes S. on the highway checking in. What's up, Wes? Did you get you a Bojangles biscuit yet, Wes? I'm very jealous. West Wind Survival, what's up, Wayne? Morning. Yeah, well, I have a pair of tennis shoes. I mean, having a pair of running shoes is a good idea. I've just been wearing Asics for so long that I guess I'm a brand guy. But they're a lot cheaper and a lot more affordable, and they've always fit me and been durable. Hey, Jimmy from Tucson. Good morning. How's it going? How's the heat? We got still nice, cool sweatshirt weather here in the shade. You know, if I was sitting in the sun, it'd be a little warm, but in the shade, it's nice and cool, comfortable. It's pretty nice. Hey, uh-oh, Stan put a link to a video. What's that video about, Stan? Hey, Uman, have a happy Independence Day. Enjoy. Hey, no problem. Check in as you see fit. It's a free country. Oh, Wes has got homemade biscuits. You're spoiled. Eggs, bacon, and gravy. Right on. It was it LS making it? You getting LS's home cooking? That'd be even better. A seizure of supercars up for auction. Is that what's in the video there, Stan? I'm asking questions about Canada today, and you're giving me tough stuff about stuff going up for auction. Yep. All right. Sweet, Wes. You're the winner of the day. We can't top that. Hey, Frank. How's it going, Frank Burns? Good morning. I was just commenting on Canada Day and wondering what exactly they're celebrating. Is it the joining the Commonwealth, or is it getting when they were formed under France as a nation, or what? They're very confusing, those Canadians. They call something bacon, it's ham. I mean, it starts there and just gets ugly from there, you know. But these central bankers and their interest rate shenanigans, and their desperation to keep markets, bond markets, and money afloat are at the cyclic rate now. It's like you sit there and look like it can't be long now. Of course, you said 5-6 years ago it can't be long now. You just don't know how much they can put into it, and you don't know how much faith people are still going to continue to put into them, despite that they probably shouldn't, you know. Hey, Farkas, what's going on with Farkas? I always see you commenting on Salvate's channel. You always get me and you watching the same thing all the time. Puts on a good show. So, to the more, since we got a crowd in here, Jimmy from Tucson brought up the subject. And so, what is going on with the submarines and Russia and everything? There was lots of concern going around yesterday afternoon, even to the point where I got text messages. What is going on with this Russian sub, and Mike Pence getting recalled, and some other things going on almost simultaneously. Certain force movements and things going on, and lots of suspicion that American sub and a Russian sub went at it, and the Russian sub took casualties, and then and it went all downhill from there, right? Like that's about as bad as it gets. But there's not so many indicators that it was that. If whoa, what's this, Aaron? Josh Martinez called from Clark County. Oh, right. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, I'd have to have you as a wrench guy to drop a link. So he called you? Okay. Are you going to put that on your channel? You got a video on your channel, Aaron, of that? We'll have to check that. The unlawfully incarcerated, unjustly incarcerated, continue. Hey, Alicia, how's it going? Yeah, but the subs, submarine incident with the Russians, suspicion that an American sub was involved. Everybody was all up in arms. I think the key indicator that people need to take into consideration is if there was any thought of any exchange of military might or power, Pence would not have went back to Washington. Pence would have went to an underground bunker somewhere in Colorado or West Virginia or something, or stayed in the air, because they're not going to get everybody together. They talked about, some people were talking about bringing the cabinet together, bring decisions, but they're going to do that all virtually in a quick snap, countdown scenario where they're going to retaliate. That's going to all happen virtually or over sat phone, satcom, stuff like that. They don't have to get everybody in a room to have that discussion and make those decisions, because they ain't going to have the time when that stuff goes down. So getting Pence back there has something to do with politics, and who knows what that's about. Maybe that's the 4th of July stunt on the National Mall or something like that. But it has yet to be revealed truly what that's about. It might just be trying to figure out how to help the Russians, because there was incidents several decades ago where we helped get the Russian sub out. I think I was under Clinton, where that Russian sub got stalled underwater or something, and we helped with the evacuations or something. Some people still died. I can't remember exactly, but that went on. It could be something similar to that. Maybe the Russians had an altercation with another country like China or something. You never know with submarines. It could have been a North Korean sub for all we know, or a NATO sub. That would have been even stranger. But there's still talks about people trying to figure out how Iran war is going to get started. Even though it seems to have the rhetoric has kind of died down, there's still people pushing for it, that have a big mouth, have a big stage and a big microphone. For some reason, they think that Iran is a worthy target, a target worthy of elimination, which is beyond me. If they're going to succeed, they're going to succeed. They're not really in our business, but that's going on. Biscuits the size of cat heads, says Wes. Right on. Yeah, who doesn't know about cat head biscuits, Wes? They violated Joshua. Oh, the call's on Prince Vegeta's news channel. Okay. They violated, searched his house, found. It's ridiculous. And that was Clark County? So he's a resident of Clark County? I didn't know he was a resident and lived in Vegas. I want to try to catch up here in the. I guess the Quebec celebrates more the Saint Jean Baptiste Day. Is that what you're talking about? What, Stan? I'm all over the place here, getting all kinds of different stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. There's always stuff going on, though, right? Um, yeah, he's in Clark County jail, but it wasn't the feds that took him in, or it was Clark County Sheriff that took him in, I guess I'd ask. So I was kind of wondering. But yeah. Is that Tommy Boy 9? Whoa, 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 whoa. Was that? There he is. What's up, Tommy Boy? You better watch out. Wes S is in your neck of the woods. You might sneak down your driveway. RG Homestead, good morning. How's it things are going out there in the big desert? Lots of... See, now, RG, I have a hard time. Sometimes I get you confused with G Bear's Homestead. There's two different, and both of you are in Arizona, I believe. Our G Bear might be in California, down there in the desert, but doing the homesteading thing, I can't get you guys confused about who's doing what when. West Wind, Wayne says, got a message from a buddy probably high up, possible sub attack. Right, but it doesn't seem to be panning out that way, Wes, or at least not like it was American versus Russian. At least it doesn't seem like it went down that way from everything that's happened since then or whatnot. The Newfoundland Navy has screen doors for ventilation, says Stan. Hey, Delaware Patriot, good morning. Does Canada have a Navy, Stan? I remember one of the nicest ships I ever rode on was a French ship. It was pretty nice, good condition. No, SS, Tommy Boy's in near Chattanooga, down in that area, but you were right down in his neck of the woods. Tommy Boy says, if you're watching this video, you aren't getting anything accomplished, don't let another be a wasted day. We're not going to waste the whole day, Tommy. Time is short, though. Okay, you know who I'm talking about, RG. Yeah, so he's in Barstow area, so he is in California. Okay. But I always get confused which one of you is talking about what. Delaware was getting wacky stuff from all kinds of sources last night. Yeah. I think it's just a lot of speculation. And since things all happened at the same time, people kind of jump to conclusions. But the Russians have always seemed like they have incidents. Seems like they're always getting in trouble, getting on fire or something. But I don't know that wars are going to start today. As much as I don't necessarily think it's going to start at all. It's all just keep everybody distracted and worried about each other. Man, chat disappears too quick on this thing. The Brits had a bar on their ship. Well, that's bound to get them in trouble. Really crazy stuff, Delaware, right? Stuff you can't talk about on the internet. Yeah, so speaking of the military, Trump is getting some military hardware put on the National Mall for the Independence Day celebration. I guess there's going to be a speech and stuff. He's trying to do it up. It's not quite the level of a big parade, which they've talked about for years now. We've kind of derided for the last couple of years that every time that idea is floated out there, they waste all that money to have this big parade. But they did bring in a little bit of hardware, and it's like some people are, it's funny. Some people are like, oh, look at the tyrant Trump doing what North Korea does with all this military hardware. And then the other side's like, oh, cool, tanks. Let's go look at tanks. And then you look at the actual picture, and it's one tank, two Bradleys, and one's a tank rescue vehicle, like basically a tank tow truck. And I think that's the only things that they're putting out there. I don't know. I haven't seen any other pictures or anything else that are going on there. But there might be some flyovers or some stuff. But it's like, okay, first of all, this is nothing like a big military parade where they roll all this stuff down the road, right? And they do a big parade in North Korea with all their stuff. It's nothing like that. And it's only, seriously, just relax. It's only one tank with a bunch of armored personnel carriers and one other armored vehicle. Like, don't get too excited. It's having a static display, I guess, is not a bad thing on Independence Day. I can't deride them for that. It seems appropriate to a certain degree, but I wish there wasn't so much infamous things on. Let me rephrase that. I wish there wasn't such an emphasis on the military on Independence Day. That's part of our problem. We focus too much on the military instead of the actual independence and the founding and everything else. It's like the military is a small part. Let's don't make them into superheroes. They're not water walkers or anything else or any other special class of people. That's the biggest danger we're getting into, is treating the military like first class citizens and everybody else is second class, almost like police. Delaware says, like when North Korea and Russia cart out the SAMs. Oh, right, in the parades, Delaware, yeah. They bring out the surface to air missiles and they look all nice and intimidating and stuff. HRM might be an award ceremony. You talking about for the Independence Day? They might be doing an award with the president. I haven't heard. They're keeping it pretty secret. Usually they announce that stuff like we're gonna give a Medal of Honor or something. That comes out usually days prior. They announce that stuff. But you never know. They might be trying to surprise people. Well, speaking about rum rations and drinking on ship and having your 2 beers on Steel Beach and everything else, did you guys see that article that we posted from the Military Times about the Pentagon trying to change the diet of the entire military? The SEALs, I guess, are going to be the test case. They are going to put them on a keto diet. So they're saying they're getting rid of all carbs and even beer. So the headline was pizza and beer was the link to it, eliminating pizza and beer for the military. I shared that on the Twitter with some of the fellow jarheads, like, well, here you go. Here's how they're going to try to get rid of the Marine Corps finally. They're going to get rid of pizza and beer, and that's pretty much the end of the Marine Corps if you get rid of the beer. Like, why even have it? All it is a drunken gun club, like half joking, but also half like, what the heck, man? Would definitely not be the same with something like that. What are you chasing? Huh? Dog's over here chasing something. Anyway, but yeah, they're wanting to change the whole military's diet to go keto. And it's like, well, I think your bigger problem is maybe you should mandate more physical training than change the diet. The diet was never a problem previously. Never seen the diet to be a problem, even out of the chow hall, unless physical activity was limited. But made sure all the Marines saw that to know that another death knell coming after the lifeblood of the Marine Corps. Anybody that's ever been to a Marine Corps birthday knows what I'm talking about. So yeah, Chief Gallagher, the Navy SEAL, they found him not guilty yesterday. I guess basically off of the testimony of the corpsman who said that he killed him. I guess was what a lot of that came from, which not surprising, right? I mean, if somebody else says they did it in court and under oath, like, hello, right? Um, so I guess he walked out free yesterday on that. Um, we'll never get to the bottom of that probably. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna charge the corpsman or not. I don't know what the circumstances were or how he testified, how it happened. Um, Extenuating circumstances or whatnot. But yeah, that was going on. What did Bug Out Bubba ask here? Any thoughts on the Chimera post? Oh goodness, that's some scary stuff, right? So yeah, since talking about distractions and focus on that, or really should be more important in the news. Scientists are developing, or they're talking about. So the article was about the tagline to get the link over from Drudge was about making monkey human chimeras, if I'm even saying that right. Basically, monkeys with human DNA and genetic links and stuff to further test Alzheimer's treatments, because the issue is that they were lamenting in the article about how rat brains that they're testing on aren't the same as human brains, and that they're working on monkey testing, but it takes a long time because obviously generationally they have to test, multiple monkeys, and they inject these Alzheimer's uh, traces and stuff to get the Alzheimer's to set in and stuff, and to see how it develops in the monkey brain. But they want to develop hybrids, basically, a monkey hybrid human, to get that brain to be more human, so they can test more Alzheimer's treatments and stuff on it and see how the Alzheimer's develops in that brain. Um, but like they say, careful what you wish for. It's just a matter of one. It's just like the robots. It's a slippery slope, and it seems pretty unethical, immoral in a lot of ways. You're going to have a part human. It's like they talk about with these robots, like when do they become self-conscious, self-aware? At what point, when you inject so much human DNA into something, does it become more human than not? Or when does it become self-aware? Well, all animals are self-aware, I guess, but they don't have necessarily logical reasoning or whatnot. But when do you get to that point with those type of things? That's and all it takes is one of them getting away, and then it's all Planet of the Apes in reverse and type stuff going on. Hey, Billy Bird, what's going on? Billy Bird's checked in with us. Billy Bird's going to be doing quotes of the Founding Fathers this Independence Day, it looks like. Oh, Delaware says apparently they may try and jam him with posing with the corpse. Well, he's out. I mean, what are they going to charge him with? Conduct unbecoming and change his discharge? I guess they could. I mean, I guess they could do that. Um, he wouldn't be the first, that's for sure. And there's so many photos like that going around out there that that have to pretty much take down all of Spec Ops forces in the last 20 years, and pretty much put them all into the brig, I guess, or whatever they're going to do. Knock them all down a rank, or what? I mean, what are they going to do? Like, yeah, that's a pretty long list of. If they wanted to dig through everybody's photo album, I guess just the ones that are made public somehow are the ones they worry about. Because how was that photo even made public? Like, it wasn't on the SEAL Team Facebook page, right? Like, it was supposed to be for private, and it somehow made it public. I mean, yeah. If it was in the discovery, like when they, when they seized his computer or whatever, well, if it was in there, then I mean, okay, like it was supposed to be private. It's a private photo. It wasn't meant to be distributed. There's so many instances of that in all the services, you could say. It's just like, I mean, not to get too barbaric, I guess, but I mean, previous generations collected ears and scalps and stuff. The guys now take a few photos and they're put under the brig for it. You know, it's kind of doesn't make sense in that respect. It's not like, I mean, I know you don't want pictures getting out in the media like that because it does have negative connotations, but it's not the same as dismembering people and putting it out there and bringing body parts back to the fob and stuff. It's not like that. Having a picture's different level. The Farkas only after immunity say he had his thumb over the breathing tube. A mercy killing. Oh, did they run a tracheotomy on him? Is that what happened? And then he just covered it up because he was just not going to make it? And they probably, I mean, it's one of those things too. I mean, yeah, that's a tough decision. Yeah, I don't know the whole situation, but you figure if you're a SEAL medic and you're in a small team and you got limited resources and you're treating an enemy wounded and you had to run a tracheotomy on him already, which means his face is blown apart somehow. Yeah, you're not gonna, if you're not able to fly him out in the next 6 hours, 8 hours, you know, if you're not able to fly him out of there, he's not gonna make it, right? I mean, you don't have that much stuff to, I mean, you got to focus on your guys that might get killed as well, right, or get hit. But anyway, Chipper asks, why was Pence called back to the White House? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, but earlier, Chipper, who knows? Was it tied to the Rush thing or not? We may never know, but seems to have died down. Right, Stan, Apocalypse Now. Yeah, you don't want to go down that route. It's not, I mean, that's when you lose your respect for the enemies, when you lose the war in a lot of respects. But yeah, taking pictures is not nearly the same as physical mistreatment of the injured or though dead. Hey, Jay Ufam, what's going on? Right, Delaware. Every movie's a little bit of truth to it, right? Let me see what these dogs are up to. Making me nervous. Always getting in trouble of some sort, right? Everybody else is good animals. It's the dogs you got to worry about, right? Oh, they see the neighbors running around, probably. Pigs doing their thing, geese doing their thing, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's happy. But yeah, it's a nice day in the high desert. Nice, a cool July day. Can't say that very often. Usually it'd be almost up to 80 already. And we're down in the 60s. Who blacked out, Frank? Oh, Farkas is giving a little bit more brief there about the immunity. And is the corpsman still active duty or not? But they destroyed the body, right? They destroyed it immediately after. All makes sense. Okay, time boy, go get something done. Time is definitely ticking. Right on. Who blacked out, Frank Burns? That's scary. Hey, the Saint, what's going on? Good morning. Enjoy your Independence Day. Hot where Stan is. Way up north in the Great White North there? Oh, that's too bad. Hey, Midwest Prepper, what's up? Who you blessing? Oh, thank you. I guess me had the little side action there. Uh-oh. HRM said maybe the administration is recreating the Independence movie set. Grand finale would be the nuclear laser beam coming down upon the Capitol building. No, Billy Bird, that's a cottonwood. That's a cottonwood tree. They got them all over here. Raining in Pennsylvania, says the Farkas, but hot. West Wind wants to blow up. We won't say that out loud. Okay, West Wind, Roger. Probably a good angle, though. Probably might cause some good. He didn't have his whites on for the trial. Yeah, probably not on active duty if he wasn't in uniform. I mean, it's almost a give. I think it would have to be a given that you would be in uniform to go to a trial in the military. I don't see how they would put you in any other clothes. Hey, High Pocket, good morning. Yeah, right? It's nice and cool on this side of the country. (1978) topo maps looking for old water tanks. So you still out camping, High Pocket? Out hiking in the country? Nice. 78 maps, man. How inaccurate are they? I think the declinations even changed since 78. Like a couple times. Like your magnetic azimuth would be all off. But anyway, I guess if you found them, you found them. If the map's still that accurate, train associate. Okay, chat's all over the place. Billy Bird's still quoting the founders. Billy Bird's doing a good yeoman's work there, keeping us in mind. He'd be in his whites if he was still in. Right, West Wind? Yeah, and he doesn't appear to be still active. See if we can get that sun glare out of there. Peeking through the tree. Is that why you got lost, High Pocket? Well, I can't confirm or deny if it was the map or your reckoning skills. Could have been a combination of both, right? But using an old map is usually not a good combination with bad reckoning skills, or especially if you're using a magnetic azimuth and the declination has changed significantly since that last map was made. Well, when they were just talking about this last year, when they had that severe shift of magnetic north moving to the east, moving more than it had in like the previous 10 years combined or something like that, that map's, your magnetic azimuth is going to be significantly changed moving forward. So you got to check your maps and stuff and how your declination's affected in your area. But yeah, the further south you are like that is kind of a less of an effect, I guess you'd say. But still, it's going to affect you, especially over 30 years. Delaware declination is controlled by the government. Well, if it was controlled by the government, Delaware, why do they make us use it? Why don't they just solve it for us if they can control it? Then privates in boot camp wouldn't get stressed out. Or be back in SOI trying to tromp through the swamp like, I can't find this box that's surrounded by briars and undergrowth for the last 20 years that nobody's found. C. Strable, yeah. C. Strable, welcome to the chat. Good morning. Hey, Rooster Cogburn's checked in. Nice day in California, right? Nice over here. You're on it, Saint. Spot deals on Provident this week, right? Yeah, they're putting those. I think they had gold that came out, but American Eagles are on sale too. I already put my order in yesterday when price dipped down there to like 15.20 for a minute, 15.15. I got my order in yesterday for the Eagles and some other some other accoutrements for this cycle. Yeah, Providence coming out with the deals though. Is that sun getting in your guys' eyes? Let me move this around. Oh, hopefully that's a little better. Yeah, you can't finding an ammo can on stick in the woods. It's kind of hard, isn't it? There, Delaware. That's when you know that they expect you to be a engineer or mathematician of some sort with some of that stuff, and then you got to apply it on the ground. Like it doesn't look nothing like, especially your first time around using a compass. Like, oh man, but you learn. Farkas says declination is 4 degrees east of the Mississippi, if you remember correctly. That's good to know. That's good general knowledge. I didn't know it was that broad. I thought it was a little more regional, like it broken down, like kind of like time zones, like it kind of broke itself down as you went across the country. But I'll have to look up what my local maps say for the declination here in the area. Yeah, orienteering is a skill, right, Stan? Or as we call, orienteering, train association. Train association is a valuable skill, and it's good to know because really the only reason you need, I mean, especially out here in the open areas like where I'm at, like train association is everything. I mean, I can use the stars to a certain extent, and then just using peaks, you can easily, like when you're in the Sierra, using peaks is a key. And knowing how to do resections, intersections. If you need an exact spot, like your average civilian doesn't need an 8-digit grid. You know, you just need to know that you're by a stream in the mountains or whatever, or how to get to the next stream, or how to get to the next trail, or something like that. Real general and broad. You don't need exact 8-digit grid unless you know you're calling for fire, you're bringing in air support or stuff like that. You know, so it's kind of train association is the way to go. And just use those train features to map your progress and track your movement and whatever, right? It's good stuff. A minus 11 declination where you are, Delaware? Really, that, I mean, you're almost, I mean, you're like really close to the true north, I mean, the magnetic north. Well, I guess it makes sense. It would be more when you're that close because it's way like that, and true north is like that, and magnetic north's like that. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I'd like to know how they figure that out. That's an even bigger question. How do they figure out magnetic north and where it's at and how to do the declination? Like, you talk about the science behind that. Like, they put a ship out there and they go to exactly where magnetic north is, where the magnet starts spinning or something. Like, that'd be hard to figure. I mean, we're way off subject, man. How did we get on topic of compasses and map? Oh, High Pocket. We'll blame High Pocket. Delaware, you give UTG to to Domino's. Do they ever make it to your location, Delaware? That'd be impressive if Domino's actually found your location off of coordinates, wouldn't it? Yeah, the pole shift stand. That's the assumption that that's what's going on because it's moving at the cyclic rate, relatively speaking. But that's a good prepping skill. Orings, train association. 520 Homestead, what's going on? 520 says they're messing with our compasses to hide the entrance to the Hollow Earth. 520, everybody knows the Hollow Earth entrance is at Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta, California. That's where the entrance to Hollow Earth is. That's known. I don't know why you're so far behind the power curve on that. uh, there you go, Billy Bird with the quotes. Live streaming is innovation, says HRM, right? And HRM, did you ever get to the bottom of your last video that you did where there were other accounts showing up that you could link or connect with? Like, what, did you ever get to the bottom of that? That was bizarre. I went through my whole account and I was trying to find that type of where that was at, and I couldn't even find it in my like area of my channel to where I could even make that choice, you know. So I don't know what that was. That was kind of bizarre. But continuing on, in the bottom links there in the description box up, there's a story out of California. Speaking of California and madness, Needles, California, which is a small town. You go through it if you drive the 40 coming across from Arizona. It's right down at the southern tip of basically Nevada, where Nevada, Arizona, and California all come together. But Needles has declared itself a sanctuary city for the Second Amendment. They are, I guess you could say, some sort of pushback, I guess, against the bigger state of California. But that's interesting. Maybe Needles will just, I think it's in San Bernardino County, so it's in one of the bigger counties. I don't know that it could necessarily drag the whole county with it. Maybe Needles will just join and become a part of Arizona. But it's way down there. That's going on. With the gun situation, California just on the started ammo background checks. To buy ammo, you have to get a background check in California. Talk about expensive. I mean, how much? A background check runs about 25 bucks, 30 bucks. Probably in California, it's probably 50 bucks. I don't know. But now to go buy ammo, you're going to be paying, what, $1 more per round to buy a box of ammo? Like, who's going to do that? Nobody. So it's suppression at the minimum. Definitely infringement at the worst. But how evil do you have to be to impose a background check on ammo sale? Like seriously. But that's going to run costs way up. You figure, you're not going to go buy ammo unless you're buying it by the caseload, because you have to run that background check. It's going to bring your cost way up on a box of ammo or even a case. I mean, talk about you just try to get a deal. No more online ordering, I take it. So ammo dealers can't ship to California. Not that you'd want to necessarily, but it's like, can't California fall in the ocean soon enough? You're just dragging the rest of us down, But so that background check deal is going through, and hope everybody's stocked up, or hopefully they're driving to Nevada. And the store here, we got the Cabela store up here on the 80 that's right across the border, and then you got Vegas down there. They got the Bass Pro Shop and stuff. I'm sure they're just selling California ammo by the cyclic case, I'm sure. I'm not sure if there's any Arizona town that's close to the border to, I guess Yuma's kind of close, but I don't know if they have a big enough store to accommodate San Diego. That's all. I remember growing up in North Carolina, there right across the Tennessee border, there was always a fireworks stand. So what we need to do is we just need to Nevada just put up ammo stands right there across the border for people to come across and buy ammo. Because they can't. I mean, well, they haven't made it illegal to use ammo yet, so that's not a problem. It's not illegal to bring ammo into the state, so that's good. So buying it out of state is not a problem. But like in North Carolina, possession of using fireworks in North Carolina was illegal, but everybody still went and did it. But but that's what we need to do in Nevada. Just solely, I'll just get Palmetto State Armory to just ship me caseloads of ammo. I'll set a little stand up at Lake Tahoe, and I'll just sit there and dole out, sell it case plus what, 30 bucks of ammo at a time. I don't know, whatever would make the money make it worth the money. Yeah, 50 going up there on that state line in Tahoe might be the best, because Cabela's has already got the California border on 80 cornered. on their end. But so that's I got to find a better way to crack the nugget. Maybe Oregon will do the same on the southern border there on the 5. What's High Pocket say here? California passes ammo permit fee. Residents must pay $50. Oh, is there a fee too associated with it, High Pocket? Oh, do you really have to pay $50 plus the background check? That's madness. $520 says you should get a booth at the Quartzsite swap meet, right? Right there in the I-10 corridor. Yeah, that's a talk about middle of nowhere hot. Is that right, Hot Pocket? So you get on a list after you do a background check. So you you get on a pass. You guys pay $50 and a permit fee. So then you can buy without extra fees from then on out? Or is it annual or something? Okay, I thought it was like a background check every time you bought. But still, who wants to submit to that? I mean, I guess lots of people will, because that's a money generator for the state, right? That's what they want. Oh, Rooster checking in, yeah, right? Rooster counting his ammo. Ooh, you're a little short there on the 12 gauge, aren't you, Rooster? Is that all types, or is it birdshot? Is that birdshot slugs and everything? Yeah, definitely need to stock up. I mean, you imagine? They're probably going to start taxing you on a per round basis. They're going to, man, what a mess. Sacramento is out of control over there. I don't know why that place hasn't burned down yet. Oh, West Wind's over there in the behind enemy lines too. I forget that he's moved. They may also track the caliber and how many rounds with each purchase. So I'm sure they do. Once you're in the system, right? I mean, it must be funny to see. I guess they're going to have trusted agents, like because they know that certain gun ranges and other shooting clubs and stuff like that, where they're going to buy just huge amounts of ammo, thousands of rounds a day almost, depending on what they're doing. That they're going to get used to them being, listed as high volume ammo purchasers. But what would happen if, save up your money for the year and, go drop a couple $1,000 on ammo one day and see what happens. Wait for your Black Friday sale, and then just go buy a couple $1,000s of ammo and see if the SBI comes knocking, or the CHP or something. They probably would, because that would be an anomaly, right? Because you're not a trusted agent, because they haven't been used to you cycling through thousands of rounds. I wonder if you would get a visit if you did something like that on a just anomaly. If they're looking for and tracking stuff like that, probably are. You might see your computer glitch and your bank card get frozen and stuff like that. If all of a sudden, well, I guess you could go buy it on credit. Just go drop a whole, max out your credit card on ammo and see what happens. They'd be like, whoa. What did you find, Hound Dog? They're being suspicious. They put in a whole new computer system that sell ammo to track it. Imagine the cost behind that to business alone, not mention the cost to the state. Or I guess, did the state foot any of that, or did they mandate that retailers foot all that bill there, West Wind? Because that's a just huge cost of business if they had to do that. And that pushes out your average, mom and pop shop. They can't sell ammo anymore because only your Cabela's or there's not a Cabela's in California, I don't think, but Dick's Sporting. Does Dick's even sell ammo there? Who sells ammo in California other than mom and pops anymore? Who's selling the ammo other than big places? I don't know what big big shops they got. I guess there's a Bass Pro down in San Bernardino, um, and there's probably one in Sacramento. I just don't know about it. But big places like that are the only ones that can afford to put in the big computer system. Your mom and pop shop's going to be like, well, I figure I'm going to lose business anyway, so why would I put this in? I don't know. Westwind says he did notice a couple gun stores close their doors, right? Midwest, how many states make up America? Well, I don't think we can break it down like that necessarily, Midwest, because it's more of a county to county thing now. We've said this a long time. um, Much like secession is not an option. I don't think any state, as far as the state house, if you went actually off of the state house and who legislates, you'd be down to a dozen maybe, if actually followed their principles, of actually looking out for I mean, New Hampshire just tried to push through some gun restrictions and stuff. New Hampshire, of all places. Um, so I mean, you're looking at like a dozen state houses that are not under the firm grip of. I mean, almost all the state houses are under the grip of D.C. I would say, or we would already have secession of those states. But some are less so than others, I guess I should say, because all state houses are under the federal dollar. They all get funded and suck in federal dollars to fund their state programs and to pay off constituents and to pay off their feel-good, touchy-feely programs to appease their constituents' needs. That's all come through federal dollars. Your biggest expense in almost every state is through your Department of Health and Human Services. That's the biggest federal government, except for the military. But then when they fund your state government's biggest section of their budget is going to be Department of Health and Human Services and all the welfare and the health programs and the WIC and SNAP and all that garbage that just makes people compliant to their needs, wants and needs. That's what's going through the state houses, and they're just sucking that money in, getting paid off and bought off. So I don't know that you can say state-wise that it's even like that. Midwest, I think you'd have to really break it down to the almost individual county level, and if there's not, I mean, counties can operate without that type of money, but a lot of the counties still suck in a lot of money for different projects from EPA, DHS. I mean, there's so much federal money that drips its way down to the local level that just it does things that you kind of pay attention to, but still, like, I guess you could say, I wouldn't say improves the area, but just keeps things going. But then you've got the thing is, the politicians, your local politicians, city or county, boost their credentials off of, hey, look at this project I completed. But it was all federal dollars. It was all grant money of some sort, or block funds or whatever, and development funds of some sort from even like the agriculture department. Agriculture department's huge around here, and the money that trickles down to the local level. But again, none of it's generated locally. So many local jurisdictions have a hard time balancing their budget from the funds they do get locally because of expectations. People have unrealistic expectations of how comfortable their life should be, whether it's roads or schools or whatever. Everybody wants a new bond to pay for something, to make somebody else pay for their kids' education or whatever. It's a sham. I mean, can you really say? I don't think you can really say that there's truly an America left Midwest based upon independent actions. Freedom actions that boost freedom and independence are slim to none anymore. So that's my counter to your assertion that there are, what did you say, 32 states? I don't even think you can say that. It's very much freedom and independence of America only exists in the minds of men. because the actions that make you free and independent are not allowed anymore. How's that? Well, that ruined our Independence Day celebration. Hate to break the news that way, but I think that's my assessment based upon your statement, Midwest. More news at 11, I guess. And there's another quote from Billy Bird. Hodgepodge Garage, welcome to the chat. You want reparations for paying your own way through college, right? Yeah, and then they're going to drop federal dollars to pay off or nullify everybody's college student loan. I mean, you know it's bad when the federal government is your biggest lender in both housing and in education. And it goes back to that video that we talked about last week that somebody had shared from Ron Paul on the debate stage from the previous presidential election cycles, where he explains to everybody in plain daylight and just basically tells the moderator, you're wrong, in that every time the federal government gets involved, you have more waste, more mismanagement, and worse services. You talk, education to housing to everything, but yet everybody always begs the federal government for more, and they still just look at him cross-eyed like, "What are you talking about, man?" But yet here we are, 15 years later or whatever, 11 years later from '08, and everything's been proven right. Government gets more involved, it gets worse, debt goes up, services get worse. Nobody's schooling is doing any better. Even all this money gets dropped at it, because money is not the solver of problems, because the money's fake and made up anyway. That's the bigger problem. The funny money is not real. It's electronic digits made up only by the value the central bank places on it to enrich themselves. We could go on and on about that. Killdeal Survival checked in. Good morning. Man, I missed a lot in the side chat, didn't I? West Wind's one of those weirdos that stocks training and defense ammo. Wayne's not participating in that. Oh, Billy Bird with a good quote here. Tyranny has no budget. The Delaware Patriot. Good point. Let's see if I can catch up here. It's funny that people think Full Metal Jacket isn't lethal. Who says that, Delaware? Who says Full Metal Jacket isn't lethal? I guess we're talking about pistol ammo in particular. Wow. Just because all the press that Hollow Points get, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, Hodgepodge Garage, I'm waiting for my reparations from the Romans from invading my homeland and everything. Delaware wants reparations for being Irish Italian, is treated worse than those other two groups. Sam Adams warned us, says HRM. Yeah, I like Patrick Henry's warning as well, and I also like some of the Anti-Federalists. You read some of the writings of the Anti-Federalists there. I'm trying to remember who wrote which portion of it, but it's really good. Hodgepodge Garage is a walking contradiction. Fake money, yet problem is real, right? Yeah, Midwest, nobody lets you shoot them with the Full Metal Jacket, do they? It must be a little more lethal than they're letting on. Oh, liberal challenge. There you go. Liberal challenge. Test your Full Metal Jacket rounds on yourself. Cash, Rooster. Why do I gotta have cash? Just in general, prepping wise, or are you talking about something in particular? Everybody laughs at 22 and everybody wants to get shot Midwest, right? Yeah, everybody laughs at your 22s until they get shot with it, right? It'll still ruin your day. Anybody ready for another cup of Joe? Or we got a pretty good crowd here. Pretty good. We've ran the gamut of different topics so far. What else is going on out there? What's going on today? I haven't checked in on the markets. Tommy Boy already checked out. The Saint, I don't know if he's still with us. What the markets are doing this pre-Independence Day. What's pour over coffee right now? Rooster just saying we all got to have cash. Yeah, I'm just like we talked about a couple of months ago, I think, Rooster, now in one of the chats, the big move by the banks is going to be when they ban cash. That's going to be the big power move. And when they outlaw cash and everything has to be electronic, and that's when the chips come in, that's when you're going to know that things are getting serious. If it's not the mark of the beast, it's going to be pretty close to it. But banning cash is their big move to control the system and control the economy and tax and control the inflation rate and everything else. Because the black market, real free market economy that runs off of cash is the biggest threat to their control. So they don't like cash. They've just been using it until they could figure out a system like they have now to where they don't need cash. And they implement the electronic side more so. And the banning of cash is it. When they tell retailers they can't accept cash as legal tender, that's going to be the bank's power move. And they'll conspire with the government to implement it. That's it right there. When they tell governments, say, you need to ban cash we need to save the banks by banning cash. Who knows how it's going to go down, you know? They're going to get the government to implement it, though, because they own the governments, like we said last week. So that's the big move, though, is, cash is important, especially in a prepping scenario, and it does give you your independence from the bank, which they don't like, and their move is going to be to withdraw all their Federal Reserve notes, and they'll declare all Federal Reserve notes null and void. And whatever they reset values to and whatever they implement, they'll make it touchy-feely. They'll probably do an amnesty system. Hey, you can turn in your cash for $100 on whatever the new system is. You get one credit in the new system, or whatever the transfer rate is. But they'll transfer it over but they'll implement it in due time, I think, because that's the big move, is to control the economy absolutely and completely, and not allow this fringe economic activity that doesn't benefit the banks. Because all your swap meets, all your Craigslist transactions that work off cash, all that doesn't help the banks because they can't charge interest and they can't move it through their banking system. So they would really like to shut all that down because they like to hold all the money inside their system. And if it's all electronic, it never leaves their system. As scary as that all might sound. Oh, what did I miss here? Delaware will have to move to barter payment. Yeah, that would be, the black market will work off of barter. Once Leo figures out a new black budget, then yes, it's gone. Oh, well, yeah. Property tax is immoral, right, Westwind? Yeah, property taxes are probably property tax and income tax are the most immoral taxes that we deal with, because they both tax you in perpetuity and are a previous lien on your property, because your labor is your property, right? And it's basically in servitude. You're in servitude to the government and those percentages automatically, and you don't get to benefit from those proceeds, if you will. And land property tax pretty much makes you a serf. HRM says the same principle as trading chickens, but at the end of the day, you got meat and eggs. I'm not sure what that referred to. Yeah, but indefinite taxes are immoral. Sacramento Paranormal Investigations. Good morning. Welcome to the chat. Hope things behind enemy lines are going well. We have several Californians in here that may or may not be suffering with you. I hate property taxes, right? Yeah. Don't we all? Yeah. Stan says the legislation of cannabis in Canada has only made the black market stronger. The government can't compete with it. Is that right? Well, you'd figure with all the way governments tax, especially marijuana around here, like the high tax rate on it, you would think the black market would still thrive, but it seems to have, I don't know, I think that is in a weird conundrum situation because we have so much tourism to Vegas that drives a lot of the market. So a lot of those taxes are brought in from outside dollars. I don't know how the local black market's working. I'm not in tune with it, but you would think it's legal to own, it's legal to carry, so the black market should thrive, because that's not taxed, in the outside the system. It's only the growing that's illegal. I don't know how that's working around here. West Wind, people that own a property always vote to raise property taxes, right? I know you were. All right. Well, hey, I'm going to go grab some more coffee. Let's do this. Let's get some more coffee and continue this on. What'd you find there, varmint? What's they barking about? Haven't Mr. Snake lately. Our big snake that we tracked down. Watch out, rabbit. Get that rabbit. That's what he was chasing, a rabbit. Where'd he go? Oh, you almost had it. That explains that. Oh, goodness. Walk through our poultry barn. That's what it's turned into. Oh, let's see if we can get this set up. Who you got in here? Let's see here. Government's making more in taxes on supplies. Does the government grow the cannabis in Canada, Dan? Is that what goes on? Oh, hi, Pike, you got the dog out with you chasing the squirrels? Tree squirrels are driving him crazy, huh? Yeah, it's the difference between the mountains and the desert, right? We got all the ground squirrels and everything, and they go in the mountains. The tree squirrels throw them off. Like, how did he do that? He climbed up a tree. Each home was allowed to grow 4 plants. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you can't do that in Nevada unless you're such a distance from a dispensary, which they've allowed so many dispensaries that there's only like 2 counties, maybe 3 counties where you can grow. He's trying to climb the tree after him. He might learn the hard way, right? Oh, he stopped chasing. I guess he lost the rabbit. He's all bummed out there like, what happened to my rabbit? He was so excited just a minute ago. Let's see if we can get this. He's out there all moping because he didn't catch the rabbit. Where'd that rabbit go, huh? Okay. Whoa, did that zoom out or zoom in? There we go. San Bardo taxes on cannabis is 15%. Yeah, I think the state of Nevada is like 30%. Wow, 25 for medical. Nice, Stan. So is everybody on their second cup of coffee? Is everybody hanging with me? Or is everybody checking out? Whoa, a Jim Beam warehouse collapsed? Really? Is Jim Beam out of Kentucky? Was it from the weather or just like, I mean, you figure a Jim Beam warehouse is going to be like a real structurally sound building. They're not still using old buildings, are they, to store that stuff? All right. Looks like everybody's doubling down on the coffee. Delaware, you going to start a chat after I'm done? Just roll right with it. Yeah, Jim Beam's in Kentucky, right? Yep. Just why, I mean, how bad would a building have to be to collapse unless it was like affected by the weather, tornado, what? They're not still using old barns, are they? Big multi-million-dollar company like that. You think would be on their game for storing their product. Billy Bird throwing the quotes out. Good stuff. Get some Sam Adams quotes in there while you're at it. I think you did throw a couple of. You did throw a couple of Sam, I think, in there. Not. It wasn't John Adams, was it? Why are you just climbing a tree to try to get better signal high pocket or what? Yeah, that don't make much sense. You might want to make sure somebody knows where you are. Sugar-free rock star. Wow. You're a bold man there, 520. I'm not doing no rock star. Even I mean, I guess sometimes in the summer I'd go with Mountain Dew over coffee, depending on when it's hot. But like I said, I mean, I'm sweatshirt weather up here, so coffee's easy. The Japanese own Jim Beam, really? That's a shame. Is that why they started that different marketing campaign? Because once the Japanese took over, they started all that marketing with TV commercials and stuff. check the email real quick while we're here. Anybody seen the market results? See what the markets are doing this pre-Independence Day after rumors of, or has there been any, I haven't seen any follow-up stories on that Russian stub still. Just the initial one. I haven't seen anything new. German Interbrew owns all large. Is that North America brands you're saying, Stan? You talking about brands of alcohol in general, or beer, or liquor? Or... That sounds crazy. Brands of beer, really? That's a shame. Everything gets centralized. That's what the central banks do. They cause all that bad money. Bad money chases the little guy out. Little man can't compete with a big man with big money and interest rates and inflation. Yeah, Kilder, I'm not invested in the market, but I follow it because it's the next big shoe to drop, you know? The next big thing to happen is going to be what really affects a lot of the other things going on around us. It's the only reason I follow it. All right, reload. Delaware says there's been anti-sub planes up and down both coasts. Really? I haven't heard that. That's the latest rumor, huh? You haven't seen a single plane? Yeah, I guess if anybody would see one, you would see one, right? Well, a sub can come right up the... Quit chasing that lizard. What are you doing? Hey. Leave the lizard alone. Get those rabbits. Yeah, I would imagine Delaware sub can go pretty far up the Delaware River, can't it? How much shipping goes up the Delaware River? You know? Might have to have an orange here for breakfast while we're here. How's things behind any lines? We were just talking about your latest ammo tax situation a little bit ago. Did I zoom in again? Let's make sure that's zoomed out. Nope. I don't like that. It doesn't look right. All right, I reckon. Hopefully that's not. Chano spot off the coast, asked Stan. Yeah, the Delaware's plenty deep shipping route. Okay, yeah. It makes sense. So I guess they would track it down. Hold on a second, I gotta readjust my brightness too. All right. Does the Delaware go to Philadelphia? Is that the only? But Philadelphia's on the ocean, right? Like, does the Delaware go to Philadelphia? Oh, is it? Is that Philadelphia's only access is the Delaware River? Is that the way that works? I guess that's right, because Philadelphia borders into New Jersey. Yeah, so the Delaware is how you get to Philadelphia, so they have the shipping route. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh? So down there in Delaware, where the river comes through, is really exposed, right? Midwest. Well, Philly's where the Undercontinental Tunnel starts. Undercontinental. Has the tunnel reached the Mississippi yet? Delaware, Midwest. The Navy base is at about West Virginia. All right, Midwest, if you say so. Which part of the internet do I find this information on? Oh, I lost my mic. Hold on. All right, is that better? So, Chance, when you come up to Tahoe, you got to come up to Tahoe sometime. Take the kids camping or something. And link up. Good quote, Billy Bird. Good one. Yeah. Speaking of the New Madrid and the Mississippi, which is where I was kind of going with that underground tunnels. Like, as soon as they hit the Mississippi, the New Madrid's going to kick off. Pastor Joe Fox was doing a video the other day talking about the location in the Ozarks, how they're kind of outside the New Madrid zone, and it wouldn't really affect their area. As he was talking about how it was, people were being led to come to the. Whoa! All right. He was talking about how people are being led to the Ozarks, and some people were questioning the New Madrid effect on the Ozarks, and they just used. He was talking about some of the geospatial results or whatever of a New Madrid fault quake, and its effect would be pretty minimal, and only affect a small portion of the Ozarks, I guess. Yeah, Chance, you need to get up there, right? Good times, good place to visit. Time is short, though, right? Time is short. Enjoy it while you can, I guess. So, Chance, we were just talking about the ammo tax out there in California. Have you stocked up, or have you subjected yourself to inspection and background check for your ammo purchases? Which I would suspect you probably haven't. I was lamenting that I haven't started an ammo distribution business on the border, and just put little border ammo stands up to reap the profits of all the displaced Californians who aren't going to subject themselves to such a thing. Heading to Tejas this week. Right on. Are you driving or flying? I guess it's not a totally long drive, about a day and a half, depending on which part of Texas you're going. Probably 3 days. A full 2 days if you're going to 2 days if you're going to East Texas. But especially from San Diego, I mean, you can get to New Mexico in 1 day. So that'd be a short hop over to Texas the next day. Easy day. Yeah, if you're driving, just stock up on ammo, load up the trunk, heading back to California. All right, Midwest, they're going to match up ammo types and rounds with what they have you registered for. Yeah, that's a big one right there, Midwest. Good point. We hadn't even talked about. I mean, there's so many ways the government's going to use this against the people. Like, and that's a key one right there. Good point. If you don't have that type of ammo registered gun with the state that you buy ammo for a different gun, like they're going to have to come visit you. Among other reasons, right? Not only quantity but type. You're like, wait a second, you're not registered for a 45. Where's this 45 you're firing? You just say, hey, I bought some ammo for my buddy. Well, that's not going to be allowed, right? You're not. Are you allowed to buy ammo for somebody else? Are you allowed to buy ammo and share it with your buddy at the range? Are you allowed to buy ammo for your kids? Are you, all kinds of things. No more buying a case of ammo for Christmas and putting it on the Christmas tree. That's going to be out of the luck. Yeah, I would not subject myself to that. Spend the $30 in gas and go to Nevada or Arizona and go buy ammo. Right? Yeah, right, Delaware. An ammo straw purchase is going to be the new catchphrase, right? They're straw purchasing ammo. Get them. When are people going to stop putting up with that? I'm waiting for stabbings to increase in LA. Like, when's the news going to be in LA that stabbings are at an all-time high or something? That's going to be the new thing. And they're still not going to affect gun violence. But stabbings, muggings, robbery, petty theft, larceny, all that'll go up. Not to mention San Francisco. They'll tie it to red flag laws. All right, good point, West Wind. Yeah, tying it to red flag laws is probably on the agenda. Because again, if you're not registered a certain ammo or a certain weapon in your registry, and you buy a different type of ammo for it, you need to be red flagged because you've hidden a gun against the will of the state, and you're an enemy of the state, and you must be brought in. Such goes the ways of men. That's just crazy. They'll make the black market prosper and miss out on that lovely tax revenue, says Stan. I don't know. I think California is so been subjected that, yeah, there will be a lot of people participating in the black market, but the big money's still gonna support the tax system. All your big retailers, all your big gun dealers, all your big gun clubs, they're still gonna comply. They're still gonna do what they're told to do and operate as a big business, because big business always continues to function regardless of tax. But it's the little guy that's going to suffer, and that's going to be the black market, and that's going to be the ones that are going to get pinched. And since it's the little guy, nobody's going to care. That's just the little guys. It's not like they're going to be going after the big fish. And when the little guy gets pinched, they'll all be like, he deserved it. Something like that, right? There's plenty of stabbing in San Francisco already, right? Well, is it from needles or is it from actual knives? Not stepping on needles. There's plenty of stabbings from stepping on needles and stuff. Cali has big tech. That's the problem. What's High Pocket talking about? Addressed what in an old video? Take care of mom. $55. Okay, what are you talking about, High Pocket? I'm not tracking what you're talking about. How to take care of the old folks? There's no way to secure property. I think this neighborhood is the first because they're really old folks. I'm not sure what you're talking about, High Pocket. You're just talking about how it's hard to secure a neighborhood like that, and how would you do that in an elderly neighborhood when it's going to be one of the first targets? Is that what you're thinking in a collapse scenario without rule of law type thing? Oh goodness, Delaware, we don't go that route. Keep that business to yourself. Yeah, San Fran, right? San Francisco. Oh man, just ruined my coffee for the morning there, you two. Let me go over here. I gotta turn off my sprinkler water. Turn another one on. Get the plants watered is an ongoing chore. Oh gosh. What's wrong with you people? Yeah, I know you'll say there's nothing wrong with you. I get it. Somebody get this rabbit over here. There, you saw it. There you go. You got a 1 or 2 killed here, right? It's an ongoing process. Oh, Chance, you don't need a background check for reloading supplies? Oh, okay, so powder bullets and primers are okay? That's funny. Yeah, it's never supposed to be logical, right? It's a 90% solution, you know? So they don't tax components, that's good. Still got that system going. Right, for now, Midwest, yeah, they don't tax it for now. Man, my zoom is, how do I zoom out? My zoom doesn't want to go, there we go. Oh, they're trying to make you buy powder that expires over time, loses stability. Yeah, I'm pretty stocked up on powder myself. Hopefully won't have any long-term issues. That's the goal, at least. Yeah, but they want to make it to where you can't stock up. But something in a sealed container should be good to go, right? Should be, I guess, would be a keyword. But are they gonna force you to buy unstable powder? That wouldn't make much. Talking about inconsistently, I mean, like how hard would it be to reload if your powder just got worse and worse over time, you know? You wouldn't be able to reload because it wouldn't be consistent unless you used it like right away. Use it all. What, you use it all in the first month, load it, and then you got to shoot the rounds in the first month because the powder's going to degrade in the casing too, right? Like, that wouldn't make much sense. So then only military grade ammo would be sought after because the military is not going to accept that standard. So pilfering in military ammo would be the way to go. That's just a rabbit hole to get down right there. That would cause a lot of problems. I can see that right away. Yeah, a lot of injuries, squibs. Yeah, bullets in the barrel. Like all kinds of bad things can happen. Misfires, double feeds, or not double feeds, but you won't have enough. You have a lot of malfunctions just because there wouldn't be enough gas pressure to eject rounds and stuff. You know, all that good stuff. What's this truck doing? Blocking traffic. Had a traffic incidents out in the rural road. That was weird. Huh. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody would be try to sell powder like that, because it would just cause such safety concerns. There would be a lot of liability involved in that. Who would want to reload anymore if they forced you to do that? Which is, they would want to get rid of the industry. They want to get rid of that loophole, if you will, which they definitely see it as a loophole. Your freedom is always a loophole around their control. That's the agenda. People worried about our convenience or problems. Yeah, people doing it. Oh, whoa, oh, what is fumble? Yeah, the people doing it are not concerned about safety either. When we need it for real, there'll be plenty laying on the ground. Yeah, to a certain extent. Like I've said for a long time, like 2 combat loads is like the max you really need. You really should plan to have ready to go. Basically 420 rounds for a 5.56 is kind of like my. That's what you need. Good to go, like loaded. Like that's 2 combat loads. Like I mean, you know how long it and how hot it has to be of an event to actually go through that. That's a lot of ammo. And then everything else is going to be laying on the ground after the fact. If you get through that much, even in the urban area, if you go through that much, there's going to be all kinds of stuff laying on the ground. If it's that type of event. But that's like, again, that's like, people don't realize, I don't think, how long it would take to go through that. I mean, unless you're executing an ambush, even in an ambush scenario, where you're just pushing out rounds at the cyclic rate, you usually only go through 2 magazines. You do an initial magazine cyclic rate, and then 1 magazine of, and if that's on a big target, like in a big group of people, a big or something. 420 rounds is a lot of ammo to have at the ready. You talk about thousands of rounds. Yeah, it's great to have for training and stuff. That's what all that stuff is for. Is just for training and backup supplies and caches or whatever else. But an initial loadout, combat ready stuff, 420 rounds for your 5.56, same for 7.62, is kind of my planning factor, because like anything above that is just, there's going to be so much excess out there after you've went through that much ammo, because again, that's a lot of trigger time. If you're trained, if you're not just spraying and praying, if you're actually aiming at what you're trying to hit, and if there's something actually that needs to be hit, I guess you'd say. But that's kind of my thoughts. I've always thought the excessive ammo was kind of too much of a focus of a lot of people, and they need to be prioritizing other things. Because if you get 500 rounds for your main battle rifle, you're set for a while. And, use a magazine every now and then for training. A magazine worth of ammo. Every now and then, it'd be good to go. What did I miss in the side chat while I was rambling here? People think they're going to shoot 1,000 rounds in combat, right? Laugh out loud, says Wayne, right? Delaware people don't ruin everyone's apocalyptic pesky facts. Midwest, if you go through that much ammo in American soil, you lead a real interesting life. Well, the collapse is going to be interesting, but still, that's going to be a lot. And keep extra for training, right? Yeah, but just trying to, if somebody wants to get started, know when they're when somebody asks how much they need, I'm like, 2 combat loads, and that's a combat load. Like for most of our purposes of what the average Minuteman or the average person in rural America or in a collapsing America, 3 magazines is about all you're going to be able to carry anyway. you're not going to be carrying a full chest harness in most scenarios. In a defensive scenario, you might, or in a patrol, if you need to do a patrol of some sort. But your average day going around, three magazines is going to be a lot, you know. I mean, unless there is an identified adversary, I guess. If you get into full-on civil war where there are identifiable sides, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different purpose. That's a whole different, you know, if you've joined and uniformed on one side, that's a whole different problem, you know. Then you are supplying yourself for, so I guess the militia loadout is different than the collapsitarian prepping loadout, I guess, in my mind. But I'm crazy like that. How's my battery doing? I'm running a little short. 500 rifle, 300 pistol. Probably won't even need that, says Westwind. Yeah, 300 pistols a lot. I mean, because again, to go back to what many people have said, your pistol is only to get you to your rifle. Use your pistol to get to your rifle, which you shouldn't have left in the first place. You know? But yeah. Delaware says you take a trip through the comments on the VR you did to Bear Independent about running out of ammo. Some very people are so delusional. Oh, okay, I remember watching the VR. I think I agreed with you on that too. But yeah, people expecting you're going to need your big logistics train. The thing is, though, too, if you're expending that ammo, you're doing something wrong. You know, I think you're not using target acquisition properly. You're overextending your resources. You should only engage with what your resources allow you to. You shouldn't be using that much ammo to begin with. You're not a military that has this endless supply of ammo, you know. It just depends, I guess. But don't put yourself out there where you're going to use all this ammo either, because it's not practical and it's not going to suit your need to run out of ammo that quick. You need to ration yourself and conduct yourself accordingly, you know. Westwind says in an urban suburban you would always have a concealed pistol, right? Hydration is considerable weight as well. Yeah, water's always going to weigh more than anything probably, especially up here, HRM, right? In the desert, you're always going to have almost what, 8 pounds a gallon. You almost have 8 pounds only for water just about every day. Uncle Al's checking in. What's going on, Uncle Al? Have a good Independence Day. Thanks for checking in. Happy Treason Day, says Westman, right? Yeah, I like what Fourth Dimension said on his comments the other day. Treason is the reason for the season. You can't say that enough. He put a picture on his community page. He made a meme out of George Washington saying, "Treason is the reason for the season." It's good stuff. Stan says have an ammo cache stored near a rally point, right? And when I talked about caches a while back, that's what I said, to have I was saying if you got a cache set up somewhere, have a magazine or a box of ammo for every type of caliber you have in that cache, because you don't know what caliber you're going to need at the time you go to that cache. So if you figure if you have a 12 gauge, a 9mm, 5.56, 7.62, if you had one box of each, at least that would be a resupply of some sort. I mean, the cache, you just don't know what you're going to need at the time. So you plant a little bit of everything is good in a cache. Ungrateful peasants won't pay their taxes. Four liters you carry, says HRM. 4 liters, I mean, yeah, a gallon, can't go wrong. Yep, you can't go wrong with a gallon of water. That's going to get you through the day, and then some, hopefully. Birds are having at it now. What time is it? Oh yeah, it's getting to that time. Fireworks should be on a list of all the freedoms we have lost since 1776. Right, Delaware. Like it's like fireworks are almost illegal everywhere. Well, we should also list cannons. You know, we should all own cannons, but yet here we are, cannons are banned. Westwind says last hike he carried 5 liters. That sucked. Yeah, when I did my get home exercise back in the day, Westwind. It's in my playlist. Um, my get home hike. Um, I had a 2.5 liter bladder, another quart. So yeah, I had just over a gallon that I was hiking with. It drives your weight up. I was trying to remember, did I have one? I'd have to look back at that video because I did the loadout of my pack in that series. I showed the loadout and completion, and I did the weight of it, and it was weighing in at right about 53 pounds, I believe, was everything, including water. And I had one of the MSR water bladders, and I think it was over a 2 liter bladder. Maybe it was a 4 liter bladder. Maybe I had a gallon and a half I was carrying. But I went through every bit of that water. It was in the heat of the Mojave Desert at the time, and it was not a fun experience. And that would have only been night 1 of that. And I was talking through some of the problems with that scenario. Like, yeah, this would not go well if I wasn't able to drive a certain distance. It would be most miserable to have to get home from that location at that time back in the day. Fortunately, that's all changed. It's now a much simpler hike home if it was had to be done. Usually carry 2, but you added a bladder because of how dry it is, Westwind, right? Yeah, it's always to be on the safe side, especially as the summer drags on. There's fewer and fewer water points. Like if you know you're hiking somewhere that has a stream, you know, you can always catch water. But now as the summer drags on, those water points disappear. So having a little extra water can go a long way. Drop a cache on the trail, says HRM. Well, if you're going to come back across it, I mean, if you know where your trail is, I guess. If you're just hiking for convenience, you know, for sport and for pleasure, that makes sense. Get your halfway, you know, as you're hiking out, halfway out, drop it, continue hiking, and you hit it on your way back. That way you have something on for the return trip. Yeah, Billy Bird, this coffee is not going to get us much hydration, is it? Yeah, water caches and planning. That's going to be the big thing. You think about a collapse, and in a scenario right here, like your water points are going to be big danger zones because whatever the perceived enemy is going to be able to use a water point as a potential ambush point or a point to scoop you up. If they know you need water, they're going to go to where you can catch water to scoop you up, you know, depending on if you're either on the run or whatever. If you're in a hide site, patrol, whatever, if they're central control of the water, you know, if you like go down by the river, if you're going to the river to get water, they're going to know it and try to find ways to ambush you at those points. Just like lions on the savannah with the wildebeest and stuff. Hey, Sparks. Hey, good morning, Sparks. Russian sub sank one of our subs. I doubt it, Sparks. That's very doubtful. We were talking about that at the beginning of the chat. If it would have been something that severe, Pence would not have went back to Washington. I don't think they would have put him in a bunker somewhere. I think that's the key difference on that scenario, is that he wouldn't have went back to Washington. Yeah, I'm skating today, Delaware. Wait till you fill up and walk back up the hill and shoot you in the back like Old West. Wait till you bring the water up the hill for him. Is that what you're saying, Wayne? Hey, Midwest, thanks for checking in. Have a good day. Enjoy. Enjoy your Independence Day as much as you can without thinking too much about what has been lost. But remember what has been gained, I guess. And continue to advance the ball down the field. Sparks says, okay, good. Well, I mean, we're trying to figure out what's going on, Sparks. It's like a lot of stuff's not making sense. There's not been a lot more info been put out. But it's hard to say what caused those Russian casualties, other than what they're telling us is that it was a fire. And so what does that, what does it mean? Why did we react the way we did at about the same, almost exact same time? It's all speculation until something official comes out, I guess you'd say. There's no reason to escalate with Russia. There's absolutely no logic behind trying to do any type of shenanigans or aggressive moves towards Russia or them against us, other than brinksmanship. It doesn't make any sense, because to go to war over Venezuela or Ukraine or Syria, it's just all ridiculous. It doesn't accomplish anything for anybody other than going to war, which the military-industrial complex loves. So I don't know. Right, Delaware don't see there's anything to gain out of a war. Right, exactly. I mean, obviously the Chinese are looking to make moves in the Pacific. That is obvious. So they are going to push the envelope in the Pacific. I think that's a given. So I definitely see the Chinese as being the bigger problem than the Russians. The only problem we have with the Russians is if we want to press in the Middle East on Syria or Iran. Are we really going to start a war over Iran or Syria and then obviously with the Russians in by proxy for that? It doesn't make any sense. But the Chinese are obviously pushing more so in the Pacific, and I think the more dangerous of the group. Was that Angel R checking in? Hey, what's up, Angel? Good morning. Benefit Raytheon, right? West Wind would rather be allies with Russia. And I think part of the problem with that is central banking and their control over nations is part of that problem. Remember, and I always go back to this, the whole Ukraine problem started when the EU Central Bank was going to buy out the debt of the Ukrainian farmers. And the Ukrainian president said no. And all the problem started from that point on with Ukraine. It all started with the central bank getting told no, and then all of a sudden Ukraine became a hot point. CIA put all its subversives in there, and all that other infighting started, and basically civil war and everything else. And everybody got all indignant when Russia took back some of its property, I guess you'd say. It's like, well, you're trying to encroach on their territory with EU policies and stuff like that. Like, what do you expect? Hope you're doing well, Angel. And we're all saying we enjoy our Independence Day, but yet realize what has been lost. Yeah. So I hope everybody has good plans for the weekend. I hope everybody goes through the side chat and reads up all of Billy Bird's quotes that she's been putting down in the side chat during this whole thing. She's she's been leading the way here. Good stuff. That's makes the chat worth it, just reading Billy Bird's comments. So if you're checking in on the chat later or whatever, make sure you have that side chat open and read Billy Bird's quotes of the founders as we went through the last, we're at 2 hours now. 2 hours of thought, and I don't know what's the proper way to put it. But anyway, it was good stuff, Billy Bird. Thanks. Didn't even have to ask you to do it. It's like I wish I had thought of that idea. What are you saying there, Delaware? What are you going to talk about tonight? What are you going to talk about tonight? I don't know. See what's on the news. See what's going on for Independence Day. Maybe you could talk more about Trump's speech on the National Mall or something. See how many more military vehicles they bring to the National Mall or something. What did Chance say there? Got it back to the grind? All right, Chance, have a good one. Enjoy your Independence Day weekend. Oh, right, Angel. Yeah, no doubt. We don't have a republic anymore. Adventurous Guide to the Galaxy checking in. Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. It's probably afternoon where you are now. It's lunchtime out that way. Hope you're doing good. Hope it's not too hot there in South Florida. As you can see, it's still sweatshirt weather out here still this early in the morning. It's nice and comfortable. I hope everybody has good plans for the weekend. Enjoy it while you can, if you still can. It's hot, right? Yeah, it's hot down that way, right? Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure it's hot. I'm just enjoying the cool while I can. I'm sure it's supposed to heat up a little bit later in the week. And it'll be hot enough here in about an hour here as well, too. But, I guess we'll wrap this thing up. 2 hours is about good, and the battery life is not going to be long enough to take it much longer. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. Good discussion. Good comments. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Share, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. It's only 88 where you are, Delaware, instead of 95, right? Yeah. But, yeah, we just talked about the links below in the description box a little bit, and central banking theory, and government ammo and weapons confiscation and rules and all kinds of other stuff. So y'all have a good one. We'll talk at y'all later. We'll see you out there on the YouTubes, out and about. Delaware Patriot, I guess, is going to run a chat later tonight, so go check that out. Be on the lookout for that going on. And we will be talking to you later, YouTube. Have a good Independence Day. Live free.